Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. We are live to the entire world. Today, now the 7th of February, 2023. And as usual on the TNN, then and now TV Media Empire, we always have these special programs. So today, a little bit away from the direct and toxic political situation, but one we also get to do with a political situation in form of an allegory where we go discuss shortly. But it's a very interesting and important program. Like I say again, today na the 7th of February 2023. Me, when they talk to Una, I bring warm and massive greetings to Una from the TNN TV Media Empire. And I tell Una, this is going to be interesting from a different perspective. This is about book writing. And when I don't say the then and now, we intend for talk about academia, collegiate, sort of conversation. Fortunately for we will get one today. So please, I ask Una, please let we share this. Not to all time we get for to talk about the politics, the hypocrisy of the politics and people are interested. But talented Sierra Leoneans, what it represents and etc. Now, Emeka de ask Una, please continue for share and please don't touch that dial. Right, Famulem, again, once more, can I just repeat myself, which is quite necessary today, now the 7th of February 2023, we get a very special program, and a very special program for very special reasons. In this case, we talk about a Sierra Leonean, if you can hear me, and if you look at my background, when I go already begin see the outfit of what we about for talk about. Few times we talk about accomplishments on this level, which is about book writing. Authorship, publishership, if you will like. Forgive me if I use a different kind of language. Probably it's new to with dictum, but this is it. But this is now one of the conversations that we are having on the program tonight, because the aim, the intention, the objective, and the aim of this platform now for talk to every Sierra Leonean from every background, every walk of life. And today we get something completely different, which is about an author, a Dutch Sierra Leonean author. As you guys will have seen the advert or the title for the program. So without much ado, Famule, let me just go straight to the man who was supposed to talk to tonight. His name is Bakarr Mansaray, and of course the name depicts, the geographic location and also the demography of this man. But the demography is not much more important as to the geographic location. Indeed, he is a Sierra Leonean. And what this means is like we get somebody of some accomplishment on an international level, which I get for beg Fambule for appreciate, because there are very few of us. Before the way it happen, we'll be feel saying a magic. For Sierra Leoneans, them of more different background are also climbing to that task. They write books, which is internationally acclaimed. This one may not be as yet, but then we get responsibility for promoting your book. In this regard, Fambulem, I want to introduce to Una none other but the Dutch Sierra Leonean author, Bakarr Mansaray, who resides in the Netherlands, which we sometimes can call Holland. Bakarr Mansaray, welcome to the program then and now for the very first time. Very happy for get you on. And the best person for do the introduction themselves is you. So can I give you the honor, sir? You have to tell Salom Fambulem briefly who you are, because we will get down to your humble beginnings and etc., etc., etc. But just basically who you are.
Thank you very much, Prince. Good evening, Fambul. Mina Abubakar, I born Freetown, specifically Wellington. I attended to the Good Shepherd Primary School, where they call Pagaba. And after that, I attended to the UBC Mission Primary School, Kisi, and the AG Primary School, also Kisi. And my secondary school, Aduam, the Sierra Leone Muslim Boys Secondary School, St. Helena Secondary School, UMAS, that is the United Muslim Association, Port Street. And after that, I attended to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Secondary School, Isi Dokia. My parents come out from the country, as the name implies, Mansaray, they were come Kabbalah. My mama come on Korea. And I've been get 7 sisters, and a brother. I lose 3 of them, or 4 of them with a brother, and I get 3 of them now. And with the emergence of the war and the way we conditioned them, Nasalom, well, forced me or left Salom, for can ask asylum. Now, the Netherlands. Indeed, I succeed, and I follow the procedures. And within the procedures, I'll be able to undergo some other studies them, we not technical one then. And later I attend to the Arts Academy. But I think saying enough, and me ego they push me for at least make a good more with the background of how we country there. So at the moment, I will claim say I am an author. My first book where I write, we get to do with me, autobiography. I write in 2016, and it is yet to be published. The no agree for publisher, and we then cut for that, and then bully me, breach the contract. And well, with the background of that, I think that also energized me for make a go right the Allegory of Zangola. If you ask me for the brief description of myself, well, I will stop so far.
So many thanks, Abubakar. This is great, and this should be very animating experience for many Sierra Leoneans. And you should, from just this introduction, an epitome, of emulation. I mean, people are supposed to follow, especially young people, because this is not in itself a small feat. Many thanks for that. Well, I want to dive deep into that, because a few things that you say sort of resonate with me a little bit in terms of USA you grow up, like Wellington, USA you grow up. I do have a family home there, and me self come on a Kisi, at some point. Of course, me immediate area and a Dovecourt, but then as I grow up, I ended up na Kisi. So I want to talk about that, kind of little bit, if you know really mind. So even though you talk briefly about that, but like I say again, let me dive a little bit deep into that. Let's talk about you transition from the beginning of your life. What do I mean by the beginning of your life? As a little boy, you're growing up in Wellington, and then beginning to understand your social status, your social background at some age, probably between 12 and 14, and begin to associate between Wellington and other immediate areas, them like you see, for example. So give me a background away from Wellington, where I will talk about shortly. But then you begin for drift into other areas, them such as Kisi Mesmes, Blackall Road, then association, and in fact with school the way you go, I hear you mentioned UBC. I'm a Methodist by your definition. My parents, them the late Sarah Chroma, Emerson Chroma doctor, are also of the Methodist background. So when you mention that, it gets something to do with me. But this is about you today. So tell me a little bit more, between Wellington, Kisi, Blackall Road, and your life generally as you grew up as a young man.
Thank you very much, Prince. As you rightly put on, Prince, now they are born because, back in the days, in the 50s, after when we don't gain we independent, some of the people then decided for can settle now freedom. Well, not only for settle, but in terms of looking for job opportunity. Fortunately for them, they've been succeed for settle. And well, we have, as them begin there, we have been fortunate for let them born with. So City Road, now they are born. And then later the mommy then moved, then go na Kisi. By then they call it Kisi Village. And by then my sister then they attend to St. Helena. Now because of the influence, because they attend to the Good Shepherd Primary School, where then they call Gaba School. And being that them be done there around class 7, and we just get for begin class 1. So during that process, we'll not be able to continue, me and the other sister, for go attend to Gaba School. So then transfer we to the UBC Mission School. The school is allocated adjacent to the Blackall Road by Sankey.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and things Nadia get me me basic education, and of course that Kisi area. By then what they talk so it been anyway. It been day out if for day. It been full of vegetation. It been full of everything and less people. Of course, from the school to the farm, because we get a well-known farm with them called Castle Farm, and Castle Farm still there exists. So please now we now be the bobo and we be the guna television pool. Because we side and fix the pool anyway now is something like satellite or something.
Yeah.
But the road where they make for Goody, it been so fine and time so nice that we they cut them plastic them like then rubber pan them we or rubber stuff we can almost chair. We they take advantage of the good side. We they take them, put them under we, and then we put foot on top of one of the same rubber where they make the speedway they come up the hill for Kandong, Hook Street. It's amazing. And they mingle for bandwidth because it been become too dangerous. Plenty of we been get accident and I remember one bobo we it be the slide Kandong and not be able for break again. And say that Blackall wood, and then the new road not been there. So vehicle them they pass the fast. And yeah, unfortunately, it been get for die. So then we get for take serious measures for make we go stop.
Okay.
And
Okay, Abu, many thanks for that. And this not the thing when we decide for go into history, we're not done it too, we still dey go into that. But then it becomes personal. We begin for reflect on things then when we did they grow up as a boy. But this is exactly the things that I want to talk to you about. Because like I say again, a few of the things the way you say kind of resonate with me. So can I ask you play football or play around mile and field? We been get one other field, you also the dispenser been there in Black Hall Road. I don't forget the name of the field, but schoolyard, we been get that dirty. Yeah.
schoolyard with the
You
brown
play around
dirty
these ends, yeah.
next to the community center.
Absolutely, just to the community
Yes,
centers. Lily, you would this so they will go behind
yes,
the open field, they also will go play. Yeah, correct.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Brilliant. And I know say you mentioned Cassell Farm as well. And just for you intake, just before the Canal studio, I pass and see one Cassell Farm fumble, two Cassell Farm fumble. I can see a few of them. The major one, one woman we then call Augusta, who is a Cassell, one of the Cassells. And Siju also there are a few Cassells there. So as a boy, we also go there. But our Milan field, you want to tell me a little bit about Milan field? That great field, that legendary field?
Of course, please. Who go that you see we no mile and field and we no participate there. In fact, now be the only field land we be there around. We still there around. We the enjoy we say. For example, the time where this blue band magazine where them be the advertiser, now they can go dissension. And we always did it when they can make that projector for Project Pele. By then, Pele we don't become a star and I'll be a powerful man at the world. And we will go sit down there and watch. And most of the activities the way they happen around for some reasons, now they them the elder. And all the schools then where they around, Nana feel they them they go play. Even me, every day, another land to play ball. Every day, what do see? Because the field is sandwiched between the Black Hole and Back Street. And Back Street now be yard road for going to school. Right down Back Street adjacent with Hook Street. Because we school later after we don't left the UBC mission school because of some fracas between the headmaster and the mission, and we people then they get trust in the headmaster, then believe in him. So when he left the school, we people asked me for follower, so a go build your own school up Hook Street.
Yeah, Bakarr, you're absolutely right. You see, when you talk, so the nape or the hair on the back of my neck is standing because I'm quite, in terms of age. But what you talk is things that are live. These are places that I know very well. Now, corner road them or you draw them as we call them where I pass. I live na Black Hole Road and I live na Back Street. You're talking about Back Street. Back Street na the last place where I lived before I left the country many years ago. So when you talk about it begin for, I mean, there is some emotionality to it because I can draw you the entire map. Like we been there 160 Black Hole Road. You get Mammy Hunter, we been getting jackpots them, and then you turn onto Hook Street. If you do a left up to Mile and Field and then Back Street to how we end up. If you do a right, you go down Hook Street to Zangola Cinema. Let us give us Zangola. Of course, you can't live there, you not go Zangola Cinema. Did you?
Please. Well, I'm going for Putam, but Nade me social life begin. because during that time, then Jamil Said also, then build Saoula, and not only the Saoula, but then they also get bakery will be attached.
Absolutely, what they buy with my green,
Well,
green,
yes,
green, blue band my green, or you already get your butter because as they come out inside the bakery,
Instead,
we
yes,
put your butter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then by then,
Yeah, now going towards Africanus Road, somewhere there. Then, yeah.
yes. And then they talk about Sarola, but at the same time, we will buy that bubble gum. We then cowboy picture them in the inside. They will Rogers.
Come on, man.
Yes.
You need for stop right there. Because they can tell you again, just before at the Kana studio, me and somebody have that conversation. So yes, just a quick reminder. Then tell them they will be get that bubble gum. Where will they go buy? Where will beg mama them for money or tifu mama them money? Will they go buy that bubble gum? They get pictures of the most boys them, here in the country. I mean, the United States or the Western world, like John Wayne, like Stephen something, Blood at Sundown. And then if you go to the shop, you go see all that thing and they line up on the counter. And then when they send me for go buy bread, say for go team up, they watch. We forget what we said. Goodness me, man, you're making me more emotional. But carry on, but I'm really sorry.
Yes. So even that Sarola, if you look opposite Sarola now, they get that how you call them
Urban Center.
Urban Center. But before that, they call the Mango Brown.
Mango Brown, yeah, because behind you get all antique them.
All them them
I do remember I lived there during that period.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yes. Yes. So Sarola na open the eye. Na they them mama and papa they begin punish me for escape because I've been get one party we na loco commander is still in a back street there. Edenya na Puyuba because the Puyuba been there where you go right up back street adjacent to Hook Street, just about 10 meters from Hook Street to Back Street, you see the Puyuba been there. They been very
again, probably we'll get for talk this out of camera, but you're reminding me of so much of my youth because I don't remember exactly what you talk, but I know say coming up from Hook Street where you claim that hill, you go past Mile and Field and then you turn into Back Street. Just at the junction of Back Street and Hook Street, we been get one at Johnny Day. And I believe that at Johnny Day, now you talk about also we get people like Farai, maybe they attend, I think, that independent school, and then we get people and the Limbas and the locals, maybe they now
exactly
at Johnny Day. So my God.
Well, all of them we attend that school day because the one day we hold the bar from the big girl picking to the last boy picking, they all be enrolled at the AG primary school. But it been just like a family. We been there UBC and we all moved back. We go join teacher Tamba na AG primary school. And as you say about Saoula, we be also get Opwata de Biende because
my God, we go into the substance of this conversation because there are so many things we say, brother, we kind of resonate with me youth, and you're kind of reminding me of me youth because by 14, 15 years, I don't left Freetown. But of course, I observe all of that. The Opwata way they talk about.
Yes.
I mean, Freetown has changed so much, but the Opwata way they talk about, I guess. Now, what would they go beyond the bush yonder, outside then stone, and they outside would they go, we get Locust, we get Berry, we get Black Tumbler, and we can go Brook, and then just keep time, just completely serene,
everything.
Clean water, valleys and gullies.
Yes.
Anyway, I will get for stopping there because
also, please, if you take na back street, then you go all the way down because it end up na quarry. And that quarry, they been get some small field. And for people then we not been able for play na the open field or the big field where the mile field, we will go na quarry for go make them 6-a-side. But they be dangerous because the floor you been getting iron stone then. And through that field now they will be pass for go na college for go collect legi and come back.
Yeah, I mean, my dear brother, you're absolutely right. I just they try to fix my background because my light they give me problems. So my green screen background can sort of, yeah, just come on, yeah, somehow. But you make quite a clear case there, and you just don't awaken that youthfulness in me, the emotionality, and this goes back like 30, 40 years ago. That's what you're talking about. Talking
Yes,
about
exactly. Yes.
talking about slim pulling, talking about Africanus rule, talking about
Yeah.
fisheries, talking about mile and field, talking about schoolyard, talking about urban center, a place where my mom worked for years and had the catering department, the UBC, across from the or adjacent to Sarola, you can get the bishop of the Methodist Church or whatever.
Sure.
But let me,
Yes.
I think we can go on and on because this is my personal history. But let we left that. But you've driven some. You've driven something into me, you will probably go give me hard time for sleep tonight because this is my youth, you're just left the country. But many thanks for that, my brother. But let's get to some substance. So of course you don't make them points there, you're very, very clear as to where it all started from. And I want for let we use this point now for talk about your journey, because of course you talk about your family and you had a great family and many sisters and brothers. I read a little bit of profile and preface now your book. Many sisters, probably I might have known even the family or will have crossed paths. But that would be, that would be for another day, sir. But what I want for let we talk about now the journey, because suddenly war come on upon us, and then we begin for part company with loved ones and etc. Even family members, close ones. So therefore you begin for transition from Sierra Leone to Holland. But I'm not sure, but the potential or possibility for drama for the in between that journey there from Salon to Holland, a loom high. In other words, there was drama. Some people like can pass through, I don't know how they call the journey, Mediterranean Sea and what have you. Not to everybody passed through that, but there was some drama. So give me a picture of when the war came, waiting the war deal to a family where we seem for be compact with all them lovely sisters and brothers that you had, and then suddenly find yourself in Holland in a strange land.
Thank you very much, Brother Prince. Well, as we know, waiting they happen today in our country, when they see the youth them, then they struggle for make them future. So was it also for me at the time, 20, 30 years back. We not been get anything we they encourage because back then, if you even say a youth man, now a man at the age of 72 or 80 years. So there was less. And it become too worrisome for some of us because like the book Waiting Bala and Adama talk, we be done the year from the parents them and also from passerby them see one day this going something will happen now just because of the injustice way people let me face. And we say, oh, we grew up and Prince, I know one day sit down to talk with somebody about APC and SLP. It was a taboo. Oh, not for call, no name, only the name of the party where they exist. And there was a time I not be even know than SLP itself because they've been quiet. So under that norm, the later we will be the come up and we will be and pay attention to the situation. We be the get the gist, say something therefore happened, and that was worrisome. But bravely, I make me way before the war. I go Guinea. Funnily, I meet a friend way now um, um, a Malian, and then Naina be the secretary to the ambassador. By then, I've been there around 20, 22, 24 years of age. And I entered Guinea. Somebody introduced them to me. We go for hotel. Anyway, somebody be the work na the embassy in Sierra Leonean. So we go tell that man they are because na man we left for play draft. So by luck, things they give me chance for make a play draft with the man. And the man a champion, nobody know the beater. But that day they are no waiting make a beater. Because of that, the man just let me. Now that the man just let me natural. So he tell me, say, well, somebody they walk to they walk na the embassy where they try for go on a voyage. But in they look for somebody where for go replace Namande. Well, because of that, you know, my name come at the top of the list. About a week, the man depart, and then take me. I work as houseboy for the ambassador, and he left. I served them for 3 months. I be the cook, iron, everything great. But I not disclose my background. I not say anything because we are men. You just go for it. You no need for complaint.
By then, if I can ask Abu, where was your family then? Who's your family been there then? Because you come from where I look at your profile from a large family. Because all this can be traumatic for us, and we all, in one way or the other, go through this. We get detached away from the family through these wars, whether in Liberia, Guinea, or Sierra Leone. We get detached from a family. So you begin to go through that. But where was your family then?
They were all in Freetown. I've been left them because when me left, the war no escalated. We've been just to get a rumor.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you can remember some time during Shaka Stevens in regime, we be there about Sule Kanji, we be there about Dogbo Usu.
Yeah, I
don't know. Yeah. So for me at that, I don't know for others, but at that age, the rumors then will be there. You see, anything can happen was too scary for me. So that alone urged me for travel.
Okay.
So I left them all behind because that was the sacrifice.
And this must have been terrifying times, Mr. Bakarr.
Pardon?
This now been terrifying times. I mean, because you, like you state your age, you were very much a young man, and detached from your core family members, them sisters, them. Some of them you're older than, but certainly I believe say you know to be the first one. But the idea is that family structure you detach from them. So this will have been terrifying times.
Yes, of course, because well, I get a big brother, himself don't pass away, but all the time, me and the last one, I grew up with them, and well, they love me. But during them processes, then they are not be disclose many things to them. Like I said, some things and they have been just they do them in a man way. Even where I go Guinea, I've been there for comeback because reason been there for make a comeback. And now that then get for no say well, are they on a particular voyage? Yes.
So again, you're taking from that. Of course, you were forced to grow up before your actual age. I don't know whether I will be correct on that, but
Yes.
again, okay. Thank you very much. Let not be labor on that. So let me move on. At some point, then you begin to move, away from all these transitional points the way you really make, and from Sierra Leone to Guinea Conakry. God knows where else you went, but you ended up in Holland. Or was Holland your first call point in Europe? Let's ask this first before I ask my next question.
Yes.
So, okay. So, give me a brief background. And when I say brief, I mean I'm brief just because for, your time factor. So, all of these struggles where you ended up now Holland. What was the struggle like? Your beginning point, of course, was Salone and then Guinea. And then what was next before you finally arrived in Holland?
Yes. Well, during the time where I did work for the ambassador, now be a crucial time. The war we don't already dey in place, and you will get agents there where they look for young men and young women there where they need for group for fight the war. Almost they almost want for trap me in Guinea, but I escaped that because they offer me a job.
So,
Uh,
Bakarr, I want you hang on right there because for clarification's sake, this is how we put all these pieces together. Of course, you're not author, so you understand this. So there were people where they try for trap young people into making commitments to the war. When you say to the war, which war? Sierra
well, the rebel war we experienced na Sierra Leone.
Leonean,
Because
okay,
by
okay, sir.
yes,
Okay. Okay, many thanks for that. So at some point then, after all of these temptations and coming close to the point, of recruitment, probably where you not go get any say because of your circumstances and situation, you end up for finding yourself now Holland. Tell me about that brief trip from the point, we don't say we don't hear that, but from the point, Usai, finally you take off and get to Holland. And when you arrive at Holland, these beginnings.
yes. Well, then, fortunately, they'll not be able for Kenny go because then they offer me a job as a clerk. Um, for one boat, where this boat now then being responsible or being there in this mission for the go and teach and transport young men. Um, God help me. The man what I tell you say a bit pandidra, me talk, I tell him me problems and I tell him waiting at the situation as alone. So he tell me say, why make self I know be don't tell him that 3 months ago on the arrival. Um, he helped me forget a visa. I get a visa and I go back salon because it been too sad for me for depart from my family. Place who are born, who are grow up. I turn back. And also the reason being why I turn back because I could be just don't continue. Or by then I not been get ticket. It's like I've been get bread, but I not been get butter.
Yeah, carry on, so you became gay boy. My God,
So
I don't know what for
finally,
this. Yeah, go on.
yes, finally I go back. Well, Latin, please. When I go back, I get the butter, but I not been get pocket money. And
Yeah.
me mama now I be meet them at a point because then the one we say when you dey travel, you forget $50 at least or $100 like force or something, just in case. I not been get that. Well, I dey feel sorry, excuse me, sorry, Miss Sister. I really sorry. My sister in Peking then put them bundle. But throughout the year, my mama be they save this money for meet up that bundle. And I know the person where he give the money for. So I go meet him, I show him a ticket, I say, I begin kiss as I tell him goodbye. I don't get the ticket. So the mommy say, give me that thing. So he just give me everything. And from there, I charge a truck. That was in Lungi, Mahera or Mosoila. At 7 o'clock in the night, I could fly the next day. Transport don't not been there again. So I charge a one Mercedes truck, then bring me up to Cambia because they tell me say they're not going to cross the border. Then bring me to one prominent man with something KB, women get the KB insurance. I think in Mindena, Cambia did. So when I arrived, then came me go to him and he accommodates me. I explain myself to him. He give me in place, I sleep there. The next morning, I continue. The evening, now I take off. I can Holland. I don't even know to who that they come.
Okay, Bakarr.
Yeah.
Fambulen, just a quick reminder, when they talk to we brother Abu Bakarr. Of course, the thing we talk about now, and when he said they talk about, I mean, he's having a smile on his face and laughing because this is like looking back. But remember, say 20 years, 30 years back, this was no fun. This was a life and death situation. I mean, I lived through the situation myself, so I know this. So now I make a tell family. Of course, we can have a smile about it now because we survived, but it wasn't an easy task. Anyway, for the benefit of time, Mr. Bakarr, so finally you arrived. You arrived in Holland, and tell me about your humble beginning in Holland. Tell you defend you bear it because you don't say not easy from day one. To the tape, and not to everybody make up as you have done because you seem to be a little bit successful who can't to, but all the people that we arrived in Holland. I mean, not everything work out in the way how they be one for let it go, but for you it did work out. But give me a brief background about your arrival to the point Usa with this so now.
Yes, you begin with the correct word. You get to be humble. I learned as people because if my book be non-published from 2016, maybe if you don't read me
so hang on. If I can interject there respectfully, you arrived in Schiphol, which I believe is in the international airport for Holland or Netherlands, they call them. But you say you book been for being non-published. This is where I get confused. So some clarification, please.
You ask for give the background during the intended day. So I mean, if my book be don't publish, if it be don't read,
don't publish. Carry on.
Yes.
Yeah, now I get the thank you.
But not this book, Prince. I write.
Yeah, you get a previous book. I did take note,
yes.
And you still in a court forum. Yeah,
yes.
I did take note. I listen to you. I get them. I've jotted it down. This is what I tried to do. So you can get a previous book where up to this day, long before this one, what they can talk about, wasn't published.
Yes.
So it's still in court and some legal wranglings. But carry on, sir. Okay. So we talk. Okay,
this is the contract. This is the contract, and this is the name of the publisher here, Bullseye Publishing. And you see the contract underneath. Then for them publish the book around 2017, and we are going now to 7-8 years.
Yeah.
But it is unjust, and you know, as a traveler, some things and you get for, even though if you get right, you get for give up some and wait until
absolutely for find a win-win situation. But let ask you this. Let ask you this quickly. This of course is good, like you say, they go to 6-7 years now, and it's not been published. Why wasn't it published? Why they not publish a book, even though there's a contract?
Well, now that not the contradiction now, because one, then give me the impression, say, maybe the context, don't know, like, because now that I did try for come, like you say, I give you a background of
So again,
how
I
I.
will stop you there. I need for interject quickly because Mr. Bakarr, not just for the issue of time, because we can give you all of the time for let you explain in detail, but just because we get time limitation, now I make a try for button quickly. Before
Yes.
you sign, before they sign you on for be a publisher of your book, they will have accepted your terms and conditions. I mean, vis-a-vis both. So when I
Yes.
agree, there was a middle ground, and then
Yes.
the contract signed. So
Yes.
who would I renege on the contract, and why?
Well, now the reason why, because now I don't join a band of lawyers them we they represent us as publishers. And by then, well, I get forget the background, say me now autodidact writer. I not get
Well,
any
what's that
formal.
mean? Because it sounds much more like Dutch.
Yes, well, autodidact now somebody we self-taught and not get any university background.
Is
Most
that
of the
is that
things,
something that is recognized by the Dutch authority and
of
things like that?
course, yes, of
And the
course.
reason why I ask that because I want to say congratulations because you are a
Thank
very
you.
smart man. You know, of course, from the day where you arrive and then you keep yourself humbly down, you know how you fend your way up to the point where you did to so now. I'm very, very
Yeah.
impressed. But let me move on, Bakarr. Of course, Fambul and Ronsi, how will they join these little bits and pieces for understand the life and time of the man where we did talk to from a humble journey from a country, the Republic of Sierra Leone, with a compact family of many beautiful sisters, I suppose, and beautiful brothers, to the point where
Sure, sure.
and back, and then the Netherlands USA Ifen itself. So anyway, you don't arrive in the Netherlands and you don't begin to fend your way. And of course, you now have family, an adopted family, where we could talk about briefly. But tell me how you come into this frame, into this adopted family, and if that family they listen to this broadcast tonight, can I use this opportunity for salute them and tell them how gracious and humble we are for having
Thank you
accepted
very
a
much.
Sierra Leonean into their home as a refugee. Because I understand I've been a refugee myself. I've lived in camps, Mr. Bakarr. So I do
Yeah.
understand this. But let's kill
Yeah.
aside the emotion. Can I say thank you to that family? So you arrive, and then this transition, of course, it not happened suddenly. It took a while, but in the end, you end up with a very good family, and you became an adopted son, a brother, a nephew, a niece, a cousin. Tell us about that.
Well, on the arrival, because I get for read or scan the situation fastly, it happened one day. I been get $20, and I give one Sierra Leonean guy who buy me a bicycle in Amsterdam. He go buy me a 12 years of age Peking bicycle. So they miss for arrest me with that bicycle. Brother Prince.
Yeah.
So the police they miss for arrest me and I escape. So from that escape day, that they decided for kill myself go and declare myself as political asylum. And
Okay.
during the process, I've been there at the camp. We get them, we get people and we now volunteers. Then they come for help with anything, clothes for talk to we, for courage we. There I met this woman that is Mrs. Meusin. We have been one of the pioneer. Then we opened this second-hand shop there for me at the refugee camp.
Yeah.
And I do they buy clothes, 50 cents for jeans, shoes, you buy 30 cents. And Sunday, well, if you give a smile, then can give you a bundle of clothes and neckties. So during that process, the conversation then be the day, because then people then they nobody just work for nothing. Then also one for no, the people then within they work with who are then come out, waiting at them problems then. So one day I explained to the mommy, say Komosalo and this and the problem. So from there we get this good talk. And also the refugee camp were been too dangerous. By then 1991, 1990, now the time we see Germany been divided. You been get West and East Germany. So we will get more of East German refugees than at camp. And because of that, the camp was not safe. Anything can happen. So the mommy tell me, say, well, we said no say not safe. But I don't talk to me man and picking there. Anything if you want to read or you want to look television, because now they defect the common. Imagine we get a recreational, then one television day, and then we all get different background. The one they read common East European, the one look Europeans programs. We will come Africa, we want to look other programs. So you can just see somebody erupt from the crowd, and go change the channel, and that no can suit the rest. You must get one somebody where the protest. Now they faith can come on, stabbing and so on. So the mommy then tell me, say, whenever I need for weed or whatever, they make a key for me right from that point. Then give me a key of the at the
So,
goodie.
so again, every time I bought in, and they try to do so respectfully because we get time limitation, if you can understand.
Yes, sir.
These same people that we've been interact with or interact with you, vice versa. Now the people that eventually where you ended up with, you're like your
Yes.
adopted parents.
Yes, because well, I just did 1 year at the refugee camp, and then I did an interview. But by then, the war in Sierra Leone not been escalate to the way we begin to see gunfire, machine gun, and everything. So by then, me asylum now be me under question mark. So I just take 1 year and I then interview, and with that, then give me immediately negative, and then ask me for left the country within 24 hours. When I saw I take come to the family, because when that happened,
So
because the
hang on,
mommy
so hang on, Abu. I'm a bit confused here. I just want to get it right for both myself and the listener then. So you got interviewed, and then the interview it shows some negative, and that
yes.
is how dot. Can you take it from there? I'm lost.
Well, I get the interview, and by then I not get passport, and I change my name by then, because even before I go for the refugee, I get advice say, well, you forget give a name from a country where something they happen there. For example, if you can't ask for asylum and you come with one hand, then they give asylum straight or 1 foot, or then cut you. But
Wow.
by then there was nothing to show. So I just get for impersonate myself. I change my
Okay,
name.
understood. Let's not go into that again because that can be a traumatic experience, and I
Yes,
get no intention for taking you through that. And like I say again, Mr. Bakarr, Mr. Sef go through some of this. To be really honest, I did go through some of this, but let me fast track him. So in the end, you got adopted by yeah, some Dutch yeah, nationals. Take us through that quickly, please.
yes. Just immediately when I get the negative, because me Dutch papa na been teacher, na be um, the director for the primary school, and also the asylum come, na the same village, Usai then they, na they myself been there. So immediately when they give me the 24 hour for left the country, now I won't go to them. Now then I be the immediate person. Now then I be me hope. So I be the cry and I go meet me Dutch mama. We all two begin for cry. And he take the phone immediately. He called me Dutch papa na school. He asked for excuse. He came immediately. And we explained to her and say, well, me time done, I for turn back na salon. So they say, well, then get alternative, provided if me want that. One, thank
So
you, make a good.
I want to let you pause right there because this is kind of emotional for me. I mean, the Western side of things, we understand exactly what's in the going on with country. So, okay, you made an application, and let me assume say that application wasn't successful, but there was a war raging on your country. How could the authorities, intend to send you back into that? I am lost. Explain to we and the viewers
Yes,
what
by
exactly was
then,
going on.
yes, by then, Prince, the war been there na the bush, it been there upline, and not
Okay,
been
so
there.
Freetown was relatively safe, and then they look at from a different
Yes,
view. Okay.
yes, and also maybe the war now makes Sierra Leone become popular to them now,
Oh
because
yeah,
it been
absolutely,
stop.
because that's the negative side. But again, fast track and again back to USA, you've been there, and you therefore forgive me for this. And viewers,
No,
then
it's okay. You're
please,
welcome.
yeah, viewers, please forgive me for this because I'm following the story. I've been an immigrant. I've been a refugee myself. I've lived in camps, and this
Mm,
brother, his story is extraordinary. So anyway,
mm.
Abu, let's take it back. Yeah, that you Dutch potentially the people that we can rescue you decide, here for intervene because you call them. Let's take it from
Mm.
there again. Sorry, I cut you off. What then
It's
happened?
okay.
What did happen?
Yes, so me Dutch mama call me Dutch papa, so then tell me say then get alternative. Me no they no go let me make a go salon. Because at that moment I was so mad. I tell them say, well, it better if for make I go back na salon for go help for pet rather than I dey roam in the street of Amsterdam as illegal person. In fact, na the tenant in the way then what then they begin come into me, and na the tenant I begin know then kind what then they illegal or not illegal.
Mhm.
So me papa come, then try, then put me inside the vehicle, then cover me with blanket and then put me in the back boot. We go Belgium. We go see one father, but the father was a disappointment because of he been get somebody already where he be don't accommodate. So unfortunately, we for turn back now Holland. And on the way coming back, border check, then stop we. But being that I've been there at the back boot, then cover me with blanket, um, we survive. We turn back. So me papa and me mama then tell me say, well, if I like that, I can stay in the house illegal until they fix everything for me. But I was so scared because Prince, the same village Nadia seek asylum, the same village Nadia for the illegal, everything was in the village. So they
Okay.
asked me if I want for stay. I say no, let them find place for me. So then
Of
go
course,
rent for me.
you be scared now, and
Yes.
probably we will get for talk because this is an interesting story in itself, and you as an author probably will like for write a story about this entire experience because this is
When na that
revealing.
na the book where they not publish.
Oh,
Na
that's
that
that's
make
the book
they
that they
not
didn't
publish.
publish. Okay, I get it now because this is quite an important and serious story where it's riveting. And as I speak to you now, I'm on the edge of my seat and I'm getting a little bit emotional as well in terms
Thank
of what you go through because I dey place myself understanding what exactly happened. You go seek asylum. Asylum is being refused on XYZ issue. But let me leave that for another day. I'm really getting emotional. Let me say that. And I'm an emotional person, and he opened me emotional gate, here for open, as I understand.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
hoping
that's
that.
that's all right. It's none of your fault, brother. It's just me. But anyway, fast track him. So in the end, the same people that will provide cover for you, yeah, back and forth and blanket over your head. Now the same people that will eventually end up for being you godparents, them, if I can call on that, where you deal
Yes.
with up to this day.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Bakarr. And can I also use this opportunity once again for say thank you to this very, very benevolent, your Dutch family, where decide say they understand the plight of we situation, and they offer we brother a sanctuary for which they have never and most likely will never have a regret for, because he's lived up to their expectations that he was a suffering human being as a consequence of a situation and a circumstance. And here he is today. But I love fast forward onto the book. You ended up with this, your same, your godparents, them. They accommodate you, they provide a roof over your head, and God bless them, sweetheart. And may God continue for provide for them and bless them. But you ended up with them. And as you ended up with them, of course, there were many horizons which begin for open. We can talk about that all night long, and I think the work he left for talk about, but unfortunately for we tonight, it's limited to this provision where they make for you. It give you an opportunity for write a book, not the first book, like you say, you first experience, then not publish them. Hopefully that will be published, because we also go like for advertise that for show how complicit the other people were in not publishing your original publication, or the request the way you make for be publicized. But here we are. You did write a book.
The bundle of the book is called Two Times Adopted. This is the whole dialogue up to today. The book is called Two Times Adopted. That's
Bakarr,
why I wrote it.
30 seconds, two times adopted. What is that supposed to mean, two times adopted?
Well, I've been adopted 2 times in Africa and here.
Okay,
and
understood.
I try to make comparison between that of Africa and that of here.
So that's the contrast or comparative analysis between your adoption between there and here, and that book has not been published. But the manuscript, everything is there, and I believe say you get in that piece of document the way you hold, and there's an obligation on the side, and we can hold, some feelings that hopefully, in terms of justice now, Western Europe, the likelihood for let you receive justice, I believe, is 75 to 90%, especially with what you talk. So it's a matter of time for see how much you live through that. And with the backing way, I believe say you get beyond you, definitely we will see that published, and people like us will be interested. But let me go back again.
Thank you. God bless you, brother. Thank you very much.
No worries at all. Many respect, my dear. Let me go back to this again quickly. You are now in Europe. You are now in Holland. You have now been adopted by adoptive parents of Dutch origin. And you are partly, you are in the family. We will come to that, because in that family as well, this is a family we get picking them and what have you. And you became a part of them. But geographically, racially, you are not a part of them in that sense. And I would like for talk about that in a very respective manner. Again, can I say, and many thanks to that family, they will adopt you and make you for what you've become today. But anyway, Bakarr, let's leave the sentiment aside. You went on to write a book whilst you were the adoptive son of this wonderful Dutch people. And it's called, can you remind us again? The Allegory
Adopted. The Allegory of Zangola.
The Allegory of Zangola. So can we talk about the Allegory of Zangola? Interesting.
Yes.
The allegory is a literary term, of course, and then you get this Zangola, which also might be a literary term, a fable. But Going through the book and Fambulem, I get a copy of the book which the brother sent me, and I'm very grateful, and I mean I'm from the heart. Read them a bit. Of course, I'm no great reader anymore, but of course I make effort for reader. Allegory of Zangola. Tell us about the Allegory of Zangola. Who's had this name come on? What's the motivation come on for writing a book? Remember, I said no to the first book. Of course, you may not write something, but this depicts the background where I come up from. Although the Allegory of Zangola are not much more different, because the setting, the characters, to me, and I stand to be corrected, all stand up, here from the background where you come up from. Your thoughts, please, my brother.
Thank you very much, Prince. Now, Prince, well, with that brief explanation, we explained about my book waiting refused for publish. For a writer, it is painful. It is like a woman being pregnant, and then with the expectancy, that woman they for deliver within 8-9 month time, and then he go see doctor or gynecologist, and then they tell and say he get for wait another 8 months. So I'm sorry for that kind of analogy, but that's the way a writer feels when things like that happen. It's like then tap into you, your thoughts, and for sit down for wait for a book where you don't write day and night for so long. Nine prompts me say, well, are they bypass them? Because I be the thing say, well, maybe me book gets some graphic um, stuff, or maybe I talk about the asylum procedures, or maybe the way I write the book. Because of that, the no one published the book. So that anger they stimulate me, and then with the background of waiting they go on our country currently, all reminds me of joining and Usa Ude right now, please. Hello, Prince. Hello, Prince. You did get me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Just continue talking. I'm just re-looping the system. So continue, please.
Yes, as they say, with the drop of that background, Naim influenced me for write the Allegory of Zangola. It also reminds me why we for left with country then, why we for left Africa, why we for Kana countries them, we where we come, the kind of reception or accommodation we would expect, we not get them. And then we left we home country. We we get everything way for make us be a happy people. Anything we get for make us survive in this world. But having traveled up to this point, and with all waiting I don't see, with regards to waiting they happen away back home. I mean, I think Nadia get me influenced. And I think say it necessary for make we as Africans there, we write them kind of story there, yeah, as a reminder to the leaders them, for let them know say the joining them where we they make for candy, now them part of the wall, yeah, it's too risky.
Yeah.
And every day when I tune with television, the news then why they get Sierra Leonean to be deported, 5 refugees killed, refugees don't have house. All the headlines then they, yes, brother Prince, it's just too painful, you
So,
know.
so if I can ask you this book, of course, we now want to go to that first one where they also spend where they on that bone of contention now. Hopefully, you will
Yes,
win because it's a righteous cause.
yes,
Book, The Allegory of Zangola, is heavily, and I repeat, and the emphasis, if you can hear me, heavily influenced by your situation, both when you were back home, the
yes.
things that not transpire up to the point where you move on away from home until you find yourself inside Western Europe.
Hold on. Yes. So waiting on your question.
No. Sometimes is a sentiment express, which
Okay.
probably sound much more like on the same side. So again, I
Mm,
repeat, your book where you write the Allegory of Zangola is
yes.
simply express your thoughts, your feelings as to waiting happened during the time where you've been in your own country, the circumstances will exist then, till you defend yourself inside Europe to the point where you did so now. So the book, an allegory, which we will get to in a minute, does mean if you just the express the sentiments and then from Musa you come out, you're feeling and whatever in terms of what happened between home and Usa you find yourself now, what you can call home in inverted commas. That's what you were
Mm,
expressing. Correct, sir?
yes. Well, Prince, like I say, like we will be the talk about in those days. We will be the talk about Backstreet, Castle Farm, Black Hole Road. By then, Prince, you can wear white roses, she don't have the tag run. Without, even buck your foot. Remember, we be to go look Oje or hunting, Prince. We've been getting Talabi, then Penny Flow. Now then street then they will be run. Remember?
Of course. That's make I think say you make me a little bit sentimental because all the hair na me nip they grow. When we get there, half corner them, Usai Talabi be the play, Usai Egugu be the play, Usai hunting the can
Yes,
dance.
yes,
Them
yes.
all, but all is being sold. It's a different country
It's
now.
done.
So when you
Yes,
talk, if you are that kind of age, then when they
yes.
wait at the new age, 20, 30, 40-year-old, they will never understand this.
That
But it's
time.
about duty for
Yes,
continue for talk about this. Yeah.
yes. So as I dey say, the book is written against that background because Usa you been there to Mami Hunter, we been getting jackpot there to Koto
Absolutely.
Jalo. I just let's say the
Sir,
crossroad between
who street black
Hook
on
Street
road?
Blacko Road.
Yes, yes.
Right at the corner there was a tap.
Yeah, there
When
was
you
a
left,
tap. Yeah, okay. Let me give you a background to that tap. Wow. my God, you need to stop this. You gotta get me emotional going now. So yes, that tap they been in at the same corner of Hook Street, we attached to a fence, and that
Yes,
fence was
yes.
belonging to a Creole family where they call the Jury.
Family.
The
Yes.
Juries were if one of them was a diamond evaluator. You know, say they always be there up, you know, and they not use the bottom, but again
Again, pillar and dome. Yes.
and then pump and then they run 24/7. Clean water. We don't come up the
Exactly.
island field or wherever. We go put
Yes.
the net down there, you know, yeah, was or whatever, and then drink. You could drink
Yes.
those water then. Yeah.
Yes. Please, I can precisely allocate to you where all those pumps were. For example, Meziga Street, down, Meziga Street.
Yeah,
Also, the cross section for go Castle Farm and for go down to Alpha Molai. There was a tap.
And there was one right at the junction
from,
as well before you go to SAT Koma and Bakarr
yes,
Road and SAT
yes,
Koma in place. I don't know what they call it again. Yeah.
Yes, that hospital drive.
The hospital
you
drive,
left
the
hospital.
the dispensary.
Yes. Meziga Street, law begin from PWD. There was a tap. You can up Africanus Road. There was a tap. Meziga Street, there was a tap. And then you come to Koto Jalo, Crossroad, Blackall Road, and Hook Street. There was a tap.
Absolutely. We go back to history, which is good. Unfortunately, we not really get time. But now we go back again to the allegory of Zangola. To me, there is the use. Of course, there's a few things I want to talk about. But just for begin and shortly, we get the use of familiar names, like for example, Adama. And I know say you come from a traditional background. So I remember saying whether Adama get anything related or connected to, because remember, this is the allegory in inverted commas of Zangola. Adama, is there any relation, any connection to the family, a sister, my mom, in terms of remembrance? For the first time I see you lift up your handkerchief.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, please, the book come to existence because listen to me, mama in voice and me papa in voice. When we begin this conversation, I tell you things about a way back in 1973, 1970, when we were under one party system. So we be the room, mama and papa then we then they talk. When they be they humble, when they be they say, this country, something get for happen now. Then go buy bread. The next day, the price we them been buying yesterday, and the other day the price don't go up. When they come back, then they can't come. Say, thing get for happen in this country. So already then they cry for injustice at the time. So we be the area, and me not been participate by anything because I'm not politically inclined, and also when then bring we up with that fairness. They say, now this not the situation, and if this happen, this will happen. So we've been already read a lot. So we will read them. Adama is my mother, now late, and Bala also late, now my papa.
Wow.
But I use the narratives, waiting them be the talk, how them be envisioned life while we were young. To date, waiting me they see now in my country, then they were right. So now they inspired me also and for write the book.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think I did notice that, and this is exactly why I asked the question. This is something that we never really talked about, but it's like say now you emotional sentiments now you really express, and you do
Yeah.
that. So suffice me for raise that again. For once you raise an handkerchief, yeah, for try, yeah, for talk about this. Because I looked into the book. It's not a book that I've read in detail, but just looking at it, yeah, and try to understand you, it's like Adama. Wow, traditional name. Could this represent, yeah, the mom of Abu, yeah, and he sound like a very strong and loving woman who want keeping family compact.
Thank
So
you. Thank
Bala,
you.
now the man where potentially could be the dad of Abu, a huge family. But then again, pride will not let him give up, even though Adama, the mom, they try to tell and say, come on, say this, say it, yeah, so we understand it and we move beyond this because for a long time, Bala kept keeping on and they hold on to many things, yeah. But let me go back again to the setting of the book. 60 years ago. 60 years ago, what are you talking about, yeah, Abu?
Yes, what am I talking here about? Please, they go tongue now with the MC, you go dance paddle. You go tongue now, then pump the all over the talk. You go able to find the knob, maybe they open the pump,
No,
or even the spot.
they are all history now, sir. Yeah. No, no.
That's right. So mean 60 years ago, those people they were having a good time. Even though the colonialists them been come, then colonized we, but they not been take everything. Most things were untouched. They were there until we begin for rule we serve. And up to date, now that they go on. Them miss waiting them been get during the primitive days. Everything was okay. Democracy was there. I remember my mind village is not so far away from Freetown, Joetown. We get a river where we get fish land there. Where that river they, I think that after every 1 year or 2 years, then they go fishing there. Nobody need the fishing there until the time reach. Then the whole village they go, the chief, including the chief imam, you name them, everybody together. And after that, when they don't harvest the fish there, um, not just a feasting day for the whole village. You can eat na any host. In fact, 10 day where them be make, where everybody don't cook down, then for go meet to the chief in place. Where if you know eat na use, you go eat na the chief in place. But those things are no longer there. Please. It's sad.
Okay.
Banana. If I in those days, if somebody sell banana to you, they put on a court. Then you a bad person.
Yeah, okay. Of course, points made there. That was then, and this is something personal to me as well because I lived during that era. That's why I was able to see through your book. Through your book, some of the things that when you say, let me just fast track to page 47 and 48. Obviously, there was a sense of awakening, of awareness, and correct me if I'm wrong, a sense of race, a sense of color, a sense of colonialism. So there was confusion in the minds of the people that, like you dad, we've been to think about, but wait till we've been getting nice at this time when we've been there all by itself. Other people they can't help for confuse we. And when they confuse we, now we get Christmas, we get Muslim holiday. Where are we? What is spark up that sense in you? Did you have conversations with your dad, your mom, or were you just aware of the time and you saw the difference?
Yes, are aware of the times, and then, well, because say we parent and then not go school, they're not being fortunate, and we fortunate for go school, and during we days them, the lessons at school. or in school were more of slavery, about colonialism. And also when we grow up, we read about we own history domestically, uh, how the 16 tribes of Sierra Leone, how they arrived in Sierra Leone, where some of them arrived with the emergence of war. Some of them are described as warlike people. Um, so that historical background is already there. But um, um, we left that and then we take up waiting not necessary. And when they come up, we see how colonialism let Upapa them down. We see
Just,
also how,
just, just again, I know say you the flow in your element, but
yeah,
again, this is quite a very important story, my brother. And
thank
from
you,
waiting at the line, when I read your book, I know say this is personally related to you, and there are going to be emotional times. But even with me, when I write the book, there is plenty of emotionality to this in terms of when we grow up, also we grow up, and some places the way we don't kind of mention. But again, I go to page 47 and 48 of your book. Bala happened for be the main character of the book. But of course, you don't make it clear. Bala represents, a kind of dad-like figure, and you look at that point of entry about your dad. So Bala they wrestle with this notion inside him that something just not they go right, almost like a how do you call it? Where the pan name? Things fall apart.
things fall apart.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
reminiscence of things fall apart when I read them.
yeah,
It's like a clever piece of writing that
thank you,
Abu don't do, bringing in
thank you.
parents, yeah, as some kind of how do I call it, commemoration to the people that will make you, will born you. And as I read through, I see say Bala rightfully represents your dad, which he just confirmed. And Adama, a very strong woman who try to keep the family compact in love, potentially represents your mom. But these were disturbing times in which the power for keeping family in know what he need for do and what he no need for do because he no want to destroy that family sort of fabric. But then he still continue for be a strong man. So my
Yes.
question to you, Abu, in terms of the allegory of Zangola, Bala get for yeah, go through this difficulty within thoughts in terms of colonialism, changing of we culture, where Bala no
Yeah.
agree with or even conform because he get a family for feed. Take us through that,
Yeah.
please.
Well, now you mentioned things fall apart. Things fall apart deal with the period of colonialism to the transition when the white man came to Africa. And in Things Fall Apart, Chino Achebe talk about the primitive life, about Ikemefuna, how they get for exchange because of they go kill a woman at the marketplace, and the other village traditionally how they settle problem there in those days. When things like that happen, then they send a messenger to the other village for go inquire as to why the thing happened. So he explained that traditional part of that. You also get the oracle of the hill. You get an old woman where they predict when somebody is going to die or who is going to reach. So he explained the traditional side. And then later, he explained also about when the white man come, when they change everything, when they come with their religion. But the allegory of Zangola now get for do with pre-colonial times, that is, after colonialism, and then post-colonialism. So means we not been there again under colonialism, but we've been there under the pre, after, when them be done left with. And when them be done left with, a lot of things been there, they untouchable. The rules, the chiefs, the paramount chiefs, them be they perform well, then be they levy justice, then be embrace the culture, then I be the custodian of peace, of everything. But Bala and Adama, they miss that. Like what we be the talk say during the days when we be the go school na Kisi. When you dey go, you dey pass na the road for go na the school. Mango tick then na the road, left or right. You can pick any plum, any coconut, anything. You dey even find rep mango where nobody no church it. Now you know the first person where the church am. And even if you not take the way the waka, mango will fall on top of your head or it bounce na your shoulder, then you fend am. You know, so those days were bountiful. Rice was in abundance, and the people were not stressing like now. So Bala and Adama get for do with that that post-colonial period to the pre-colonial times, whereas with things fall apart, then taken from colonial period up to the time when they come with the religion for change the culture. And we don't get already, we be done adapted to the culture, to Islam and Christianity. We na Inca help them for make them lose more of waiting them in get. So it's enough for make the one then waiting in government now, because by then be they go school for land, for no waiting a slavery, and for no waiting a colonization. The whole of Africa, we've been there against that. The whole of Africa, we fight for that. But if you look, waiting Baladi say, Baladi try for say, the governance system where we get now, not just a replacement of colonialism. If I can put on that way the things.
Yep. Okay, and very fair enough. And ladies and gentlemen, just for remind Una, we did talk to Bakarr Mansaray in a Sierra Leonean. Of course, we don't talk about a life journey from waiting most of us will relate to. Of course, there are people who do not understand this because they were not born during the times as to where this issue unfold. But there are many others.
Allow me to bring this.
Yes, say that again, Bakarr.
I just say, allow me to drink this.
Oh yeah,
sorry
of course.
For that.
Feel free on this platform. Feel free to do your stuff. The only thing we would really allow is profanity, ad hominem, personal attacks, and what have you. But everything else, you know, yeah, we regarding nature, you have to drink. You have to quench your thirst because, after all, you said a lot. But again, Fabule, like I say, we did talk to Bakarr Mansaray. He's a Sierra Leonean, and I just come from Hanouan shortly. But we happen for common at the same background, and probably we are of the same age group, so we grew up the same age time. So there are many things that we kind of relate. And I'm kind of impressed tonight, and let me admit this, because waiting the brother they do it, they remind me of me childhood, places then where I grew up, places then where I play, streets then where I waka, people that where I had an encounter with. So I'm really, really impressed. But then the story is not about me; it is about the brother. Transition from the difficulties of time that we in the early 1990s upwards, and he end up for himself in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, again, an adoptive parent, and once again, can I use the opportunity for say thank you if those parents are listening tonight, for providing, and I'm sure there are no regrets because the brother must have done quite well, parents and they didn't adopt him. This brother don't go on for write 2 books. The first book we published regarding in journey, it wasn't planned. I was just asking, these were natural questions as to how we transition from X to Y, and happy for say the book, if you don't write a book on that position day, and that book was never published, but of course he's taking actions, and I wish him good luck. Second part of it is that he did write, which is the Allegory of Zangola, and una need for look at the bottom of our screen because there's a scroller text there, and I encourage you now for please let we do the needful. I have got my text. Okay, this is it.
Wow.
As you can see it, these are my hands, and I lift up the book, and I've got one. This is the Allegory of Zangola.
Wow.
And let me surprise Una a little bit more. Okay, let me surprise Una a little bit more. My book is also signed. If Una understand what is signed book mean by the author. So me, and I am proud. I'm a proud recipient of this particular book, signed by the author. Okay, and now Una see so on the screen. So this is the Allegory of Zangola. I've got my copy, and with the admonition now, forget Una your copy. Why is it important for get a copy? To me, there are 2, if not 3, aspects to this. And I speak between Creole and English because I know the vast majority of people that we get for, patronize these book sales will be Sierra Leoneans then. But we also get people them, and we know say then and now, other people are listening as well, and they are English speaking. So therefore, that's why I the flow between English and Creole. So I don't mean no offense, but let we try forget this book. When we do so for buy this book, we are helping to promote a brother. We are helping to promote a son, a dad, and you name it. That's what it is. That's a solidarity now with the rest. And forget this book, where I just lift up just now, if I can lift up one more time. This is it. If you look at the scroller screen again, when I go see all the details there, or if you look at the static screen, just there, if you watch the program, you go see and there. And please don't make me disappointed because I don't like to be disappointed. Get to the sites there by going for Get You Copy, BOL, BOL.com, or Bruna, BRUNA.OR, and then BRUNA.NL. NL, I believe, stand for Netherlands. I don't see boku things about Netherlands, so I know NL is Netherlands. You have to get a copy of the book for different reasons, because the book in itself is a great book. The allegory. Do we understand what the allegory is? Do we understand what the allegory is? And I ask that question over and over again. And just for lay emphasis, an allegory is a symbolic fictional narrative which conveys a meaning not explicitly set forth in a narrative. Allegory which encompasses such forms as fable, parable, and apologue, and we can go on and on and on. But the brother don't make it clear. And of course, in family is deep into this. It come up from a Sierra Leonean family, just like many of us, a transition and end up in Holland and wrote a book. We should be proud of this Sierra Leonean. And once again, Fambolem, I repeat, we need forget this book. And forget this book, what we need for do is now for go on to bol.com and we go try for get and day. And there are other means where we can use for also get them. So Bruna, B-R-U-N-A, please look at the screen and try for get them. This is solidarity to a brother who is doing quite well. Can't say that much because not all time we go for the talk about politics. Mother Bio, Fatima Bio, and what have you, and then we interested in 50,000 views. This is it. This is what makes the
Wow.
change to come that you need. Can't say that much. Anyway, back to the brother. Quickly, of course, we don't go deep into the time. Looking at page 64 and 65 of your book, Mr. Bakarr, Bala at some point, like any mortal man no more, he expresses anger. The anger boils down from frustration because he dey look forward to certain things being done, how they should be done, but they are not happening. And you get a family where he owe obligation to us to have to explain to them, especially Adam as the demanding wife for what's going on. Help me for understand that part, neighbor. Please.
Well, please. Well, at the left Zangola, just to give example of the country which I you come and which I me come Sierra Leone. Would that day right now we you go talk about one bag of rice we you tell her they buy for you one bag of rice. You will come on Europe, we not go grumble by you. So obviously as things that not be going well for Bala and Adama, and you know, as a couple, um, like you get your wife, you get your picking them things. When things are rough, you start with your wife. Even before the beginning, they know the things then. So Bala being constantly engaged Adama for make them go able for aware of the condition. Well, not good condition, but the bad condition where then they pass. And how things they just come off from bad to worse. And Adama now, like we well in the team in a way they say Ronchima and Ben. And in the Susu way, they say Baraga Siga Baraga Fa. When you give hand, you will get a handbag. So Adama and Bala, now Ronchima and Bench, Neil and Bench, and they know themselves, they understand themselves in good times, in bad times. They always consult themselves. Even when Bala, like I you say, Sunday can just get mad, and at times he can move, he go tin up at the window and wait for letting wisdom flow through. Adama can see.
Okay.
Yes, come.
Yeah, you make it quite clear and exactly what they try to understand Adama. But Adama was a supportive wife, was
Yeah.
equally demanding, and they tell him and say, you need for get this thing out of your chest. But also in your book, there is some sense of racism, some sense of colonialism, some sense of color, and what have you, which make the main character of the book, Bala, really disappointed. We can make and think about great times gone past a long time ago. Tell us briefly again about this period, whether I'm correct. I'm not sure whether I'm correct, but it sounds to me reading the book that there was some period of racism where really appreciate things are getting difficult. The culture, above all, is being changed.
Yes. Well, I will left Zangola because that one is a fiction. And they take the reality way na Sierra Leone way we born. Look at what is happening there now. You did talk about racism. Why we for the talk about tribalism? Why we for the talk about nepotism? Why we for the talk about political jingoism? Why we for the talk about Mende? Why we not for the talk about Mende Timini Fula Madingo? Why we for the talk only about Timini? Why we not for talk Susu Madingo Fula? So if you talk about racism, we still do undergo racism in Sierra Leone, tribalism as well. Everything about Zangola has been turned upside down. The chiefs are no longer themselves. The chiefs, normally, as we know, they are the custodian. they are the guardian of the village people. But look at what is happening. As I say, law left Zangola because it's a fiction. Law take reality. Sierra Leone. I not get any other country where I could give example of. Only Sierra Leone. Look at the chiefs. Bala said the chiefs are no longer themselves. The chiefs are nowhere to be found. The chiefs, they follow the president instead of the president following them in their own domain. So means everything has been turned outside. Bala even asked Adama to say, even when the chiefs they die, I don't know, Prince, maybe you go don't see that somewhere. You don't want this with Chief Dinah Salon, then they sing the national anthem for her.
No, not really, sir. So, which takes me to the next point. It's a good question, a really brilliant question. No, I don't one day see that, but that explains to me. It's like suddenly this president don't become the all powerful. But the next thing I want to go to quickly, because we come to the end of this conversation, is that of the whistleblower. It seemed like the whistleblower was very well resented. Anytime when you blow a whistle or when they come with this announcement, Adama could not stand that could bala, but it was the process that they had to follow. Your thoughts?
Yes, well, you know, in those days, like when we say, everything in the village has been lambasted or bombarded. There's nothing left in the village. So means in those days we used to have the town criers. The town criers were the ones who were passing on messages from chiefs to the people. But nowadays, you don't hear about town crier there again. Don't know they. Now whistleblower that we get. Because all land they come with the academic studies where we don't achieve. We no longer they go to the primitive way. So in the educative way or in the way of government we serve, those are the terms. Now the new post-colonial terms then we use for describe a ordinary messenger where they tell the people everything they happen, information. So the whistleblower is always working with Bala. And in those days, then they're not being get internet, they're not being get telephone. And how then did they get the message? Is through the whistleblower. So I therefore incorporate the whistleblower. And if I come in out of the fiction, I come to the reality of waiting they happen as salon. Right now in a salon, we get people that like Chernobyl, we get people that like Adebayo, even you, Prince, the then and now TV media empire. We get people then like Triple A, Adebayo. Then they tell we every day waiting to happen. So it's the same for Bala and Adama, and then being conscious of the whistleblower. Now, in then depend on because they not get again the town crier then at the village where they go and knock do or get a pan or so. But
Okay.
as I say,
Yeah, carry on with
yes,
that last point. Yeah.
yes, as I say, most of what we receive now is from the whistleblower. The whistleblower uh, tells a lot. And we they listen to them. And if we not listen to them, we not they know waiting
Okay,
they happen.
I want to go through some few comments in the chat room. Not very
Yes.
many, but very critical. So, of course, we get kind sentiments from a brother called Delwin Thomas, who's a frequent, viewer of this platform. He says it's a fantastic conversation and is watching from Northern Ireland. Of course, the platform gets a global viewership. So this will be seen by people from Northern Ireland, in far away Australia, the United Kingdom, the United States, Central Europe, and all the many countries involved. There's another brother. This name, it looks strange to me. When I say strange, it's my first time seeing it. It could have been before. Albert Fuji. He's asking, in the ask, is the book already on Amazon? If yes, rather, what is the ISBN number so one can be able to order or purchase the book? So it already there on ISBN, on Amazon?
Yes, of course, we get the Dutch Amazon. We get Netherlands Amazon.
Okay, this is what I was going to ask, because again, there seems to be complication here. Because what's in the brother they ask, every book where you publish now Amazon, as long as you don't translate them, you write them in Dutch, so you got Dutch version, but there is something called an ISBN where they identify the book to you and the book itself. So now that is
behind the book. Behind the book where you
okay, Brother Albert Fuji, the author of the book, I just said, you go beyond the book, but he has not acquired the book yet. He wants to buy the book. So if you didn't Amazon, is there an ISBN? The ISBN number now in a like some kind of how they call it code, some code where they pinpoint exactly what you want. So maybe you can give me that later.
This is the
I think that's what the brother is talking about. It's not too clear, but I will post them later. That's what he's talking about. Yeah. But make an effort, brother Albert Fuji. I will really appreciate this if you come back to this platform and say, you know what? I don't get a copy of this book. That would be so much appreciative, because of course the details are there. It's on Amazon, and if you look at the scroller text on this live broadcast right now, you go see if you go to bol.com, you go Phenom, and there is also a site there for those of you in Netherlands. Something where I not ask Abu is it both in Dutch and English, or is just in a English version? Because I've got an English version. I'm going to show people.
Yes, it is in English, but I'm now trying to do it in Dutch.
Okay, so for now,
so that you will get an yes.
Yeah, go on, please make that clear. That's important.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the English version. I've got a copy of it. This is my personal copy, signed, sealed, and delivered by the author, and I feel really proud. I got a few of these, okay? So please try to make sure, we get this copy for very reasons.
And please tell the brother, if we need the book, you can give me telephone number and address, and I can solve that. No problem.
Okay. So there's also a request from a Christiana Florence Cress. Sister Christiana is asking, how can I have a copy? Thank you very much for asking this critical question. Again, if you look at the scrolling text at the bottom of this live conversation, you will see one or two ways in which you can acquire the copy. If it's not clear enough, I go put me details now. Get in contact with the then and now. Yeah, this is my email address, then and now .community at gmail.com. Okay, get in touch with this address. I just don't put that up there. So if you look at that, that's we email address. You can also contact me on +44, which na country code, and my number I reside in the United Kingdom, 77 omit the 0 40107250. Yeah, you can get in touch with me, and my name is Prince. Yeah, or you can equally say then and now. Then and now. Okay? Then and now, Media Empire. Please inform them. We'll not just put them side there simply because we want for bluff, or American man call them BS. No, because it's important. It's important that we show solidarity to a brother who has done a good work. Works like these cost money. The time that you sit down for write, the time that you sit down to do all this writing, printing costs money. Even myself, when I begin, it was free. But now I've reached a point, yeah, there's not much, not like I make profit, but I do ask, like for flyer. Flyer costs money. The time I sit down and have for talk, it costs money. And I must commend the brother, he's been very generous to the platform. But this is not it. We've got hundreds of others. The idea here is when people impart with information, for show solidarity, with such, we cannot show compensation. So again, this is not about me. This is about the Allegory of Zangola. I've read it and it's user-friendly. It's friendly for your kids. You can use this for teach you, picking them. It's an allegory. An allegory. Look up the terminology yourself and you know exactly what he means. I can't say very much more than that. I must say thanks to the brother. So again, like I said, I've been to go through a few things then on the chat media. They are not very much. Christina Florence Cressy, how can I have a book? So we've already sent that information. And hopefully Sister Christiana will use that for encourage family and friends for try for acquire the book. Very important. Very, very important. Okay. Ibrahim Kamara. Brother, I really love this. I really, really love this. What did he say? And we'll put you on the chat in the live stream. Ibrahim Kamara says, I will make sure I get one. I will make sure I get one. Thank you, brother. This is what
Thank you in advance, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Yeah, I will make sure I got one. And somebody asked what's the cost of the book. Well, again, if you go to the site and they sell the book, not only the author will determine that. They, of course, the price is already set. But if you are really interested in buying the book, just go to the site. Now, it's important because it's set. Not to that yuki like Swazi market where the type of no. This is set. This is professional. So, but you can come out, just go to that site there and find out for yourself. Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate it now, and we hope so. Now go spread the word as well. And what I'll now come to the end of this conversation. And to the end of this conversation, one or two more questions. I want to come to chapter 8 of your great book. This is a great book, okay?
I know saying you must get there.
Of course. And I'll go even beyond that. One thing I want to say, I admire Bala, and this is personal, as a strong character. But as a strong character, Abu, you cannot deny this, that there will come a point, okay, I think we lost Abu briefly.
I'm back.
He's back. No, in my internet 9 play up. You can see me green room in the background. Even as we get Bala as a very strong character throughout the book, remember we get chapter 1, 7, and 8 now. Now we begin for say, Bala did exemplify weakness. But what is wrong with exemplifying weakness? He's only human. And after all, he get family for look after and don't they hold on. But here is the point, Mr. Abu. To me, he begin for show weakness. To other people, it's not weakness. Again, because Adama is restless in woman. Because he knows say a man gets something in chest. And until that's something that comes out, how can they deal with it? I wonder who is the smart one here. But again, they are helpful for understand the mindset of Bala and Adama towards the end of this book.
Yeah, well, as you see, well, Lowy left the Allegory of Zangola because now fiction, and like I say, if I get for give example, I go give example within me reach the country then where I don't live. And the most example I will give is Sierra Leone. Why make people then they run away? Why make people then they sell their house? For go there na a country where they're not welcome. Why make people and they left all waiting and get then take the risk for who cost
again, Bakarr, I'm not cut you off. Hold your thoughts right there and continue right there from there. The reason why I pause you again is I can't bear because what you they talk it make absolute sense. Just before they come to studio today, me and a man we keep pass together me information and converse with people. I get 2 brothers will express the same thoughts where you say. They even give me an example. There was an imam we sell 2 of he them just for Kanaya.
Yes.
And then when he come, disappointed. So continue,
Yes.
brother.
Yes. So this is rampant every time. The villages. What about the boys, the youth? They are no longer there. The mining field, all has been occupied by foreigners. Do not get a breathing space anymore. Some of them, then they survive now in the name of Waska. Some of them, they go into hard drugs. So for Bala, because I talk at the beginning, he explained himself, say, in uneducated man, illiteracy still they want in curriculum as wanted. So imagine how many illiterate people we get. Law go to the country, Sierra Leone, where they look for opportunity, where they look for chances for make them go make a day. It's difficult. Many people then they run away. The only solution is to run away, like some of us. We run away for make we go live, for make we go able for fight for another day. So what's the same for Bala? At the end, if you say Bala become weak, but Bala also be the ask Adama how Adama be the ask Bala how then go do with the situation where they no go hurt their neighbors, the people and where they are around them, and even themselves. So at the end, they then get for run away. And at that, if I look to the reality of waiting they happen in our country, it's the end. If you know one go jail, if you know one kill pussy, if you know one stage a revolution, then you have to run away. It sounds weak, but no, because you run away for live, for fight for another day. I think that become Nabala in mind.
Okay. So it's over to me again, but just a quick one. What I notice say your book try to do is for squeezing everything will happen between a period of 61 years. You know. What I want for you do towards the end of, to the end of this program is the 61 years, there were good times and bad times. I also see say you mentioned Ebola, which means that there was a beginning and towards the end, Ebola. Try for break and down to it. Waiting have been the good times then, as opposed to where we are outside people like Adam Ali complain to a man and Bala find it difficult. Break and down for it, please.
Yes, but as we talk, Prince, and the good times were the days when, well, we will get some story them where they say the first motorcar around the 1930, we go na one of the villages in Sierra Leone, one village where the people then we drive the motorcar go there, then serve them food, then give them fruit, and then bring food for the motorcar instead and food. Then because yeah, the people then get for ask the one day we bring the motorcar say, well, una they eat, why in no for eat? Now they say no, this not to human, not to a being, na a thing. So imagine
typical allegory of
so imagine how then days then they been there where then they even make food for motorcar. They look now for one cup of gari. People in the grumble. Hey man, Prince. I'm sorry for take example, but I'm a Sierra Leonean, now they are born. But Sierra Leone, you go compare with Zangola, almost the same. Then get almost the same. Then get Kono, na Zangola. Then get Bintumani. then get Lunge Bridge, then get one bridge in Zangola where then they cross, where the people and they wait for these 60 years up to date in Zangola. They no construct that bridge there. And Bala and Adama, they always pray for let that bridge they be constructed so that they will get the ample time, even for crossover, for go say hello to their neighbors, or even for go sell them goods for cash. So if they say, compared to now and waiting with the sea, they happen not only in Sierra Leone, but Guinea, Liberia, and the rest of Africa. It's just a mere tragedy, Prince.
Abu, so much thanks. I want to give you the last word on this beautiful program. I can assure reader them that we need forget this book. Again, if we can all pull out with dictionary and look what the allegory mean, and how the brother try to translate the allegory into something we probably most likely to a reality. And this is really important because that's what he did with himself. He put his own fambulem into the reality of this book, which looked like a fable, an allegory. It could be us. There are parts in
I do that mainly because I know I let them kill me family there. Or let them kill me. So I use my own family.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I sure say Mansaray in his glory, Mami Adama, and all your sisters. Let me look at the book. Let me mention your sisters because in the very preface, I've been promised to mention that because I like that. I'm a family man. I love the structure. Your dedication, the first pages of the book is to your family. And family is the inherent structure, the internal structure of people. So you get your brother and sisters, but of course you talk about one of them where you don't lost now, apparently a big brother. I don't know whether or not Ibrahim Mansaray. And then your sisters, okay, may his soul rest in perfect peace. And my condolences, my dear brother. You get Marie Mansaray, Salimatu Mansaray, Yegbe Mansaray, Titi Mansaray, Aisatu Mansaray, and Hawa Mansaray. So it seems like you get this host of sisters and only two brothers, and you are the only surviving brother. And all the sisters there, apparently, they are still very much alive. And I can't be thankful enough, even though I am not a part and parcel of your biological family, but I'm so grateful, my dear brother.
Thank you.
Finally, Abu, I did say your book mentioned a lot of things. Contrast and comparison. Sierra Leone. I'm not saying Sierra Leone because I can't speak for you, but the Allegory of Zangola. It sounds like something really familiar to me. This is not the interesting piece of your book. This is an interesting piece of artwork. Let me be very clear.
Thank you.
Because when you read them, you must, well, I don't know, personally today you born, but if you born some 20 years ago, and not too long ago, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years ago, there is some piece of you in this book, and this is clever writing, the Allegory of Zangola. Finally, Abu, your final word on this, your brilliant piece of artwork. Of course, we go continue for promoter Naya. Let people and try for copy. I promise you that I'm not going to relent. Every step of the way, because it's not something where we can teach to with children them. So it's not only about us with children them where we born in Europe here. And when we do the calculation over 4 years ago, I don't know whether that number don't grow because I not check them. But then we were over 1 million, and they talk about picking the whole unborn here. So this can be taught to them. This can be shared with them because this is any of just an ordinary work. This is a work of an academic. And then it resonates with the general population of the country called Sierra Leone. The Allegory of Sierra Leone, I recommend them. But like I say again, you your last word. Try for encapsulate all of this for we, so we go understand.
Well, maybe if you allow me, I will do them in the form of poetry. I will read a poem what I've just done right.
I want you to take all your time with the last word. When you done, let me know that you're done. Then we move on. It's all yours.
Yes, now that I say I go and do them in the form of I read my poem what I just write unedited. Sorry if there is anything. I write Brat Soldiers, 1996 to be remembered. We will never forget the day the first gun splash sound like in our dumb ears. Danger spread to alert the attention of the news they brought us. We know everything they did, but we did not expect what the news says they told us. Why the first bullet dropped innocent, sent dead. They attacked us with the vengeance of the post-colonial repentance deed, ignored by the many of us as was overdue. Ignored by the many of us as was overdue, when patience ran out of them, left us in disarray, like scrambled eggs uncooked. Everything was red toasted, disgruntled like no more one party, feasting, props, bombs down. Wonders will never end to see brat soldiers barefooted like sugar cane that does not taste like a gunshot. They enter to free us with 5 friends in command to save us. The new freedom is for all POB members, but equal right and justice denying misuse us. They care for themselves dying with abject hunger, killing them more than the bullet they aimed at us. We sacrifice our feet and hands to the revolution with greater interest, but the revolution looks at us as fools, dying or praying for a bad day, like that day they came to us unnoticed. Many of them and the many of us were eaten by vultures, feasting with human bodies, burns, roasted, and well ready for the revolution that failed us like a big joke. If it was not a joke, those who died could have been alive, and those that are alive could have been dead. The dead ones could have helped us by now to put things in place, as was intended by the revolution to meet our desire in good faith, like freedom is here. Freedom is here to come from the dead. They are still alive to the aid of the revolution they started with corruption-free, this country zero tolerance to unite us. They, only they, will unite us.
My dear brother, there are a few programs that end up on a high. Definitely, this one ended up on a high. We talk about the Allegory of Zangola, and the few comments that we get is positive. Well, of course, this is a Sierra Leonean writing. And we hope for hearing from you again. This not to the last, of course. And then we go get more questions, here for ask. You ended up with a poem, and the poem, is so relevant. I mean, they try for catch up with the words as you read. But every word where you read, every sentence where you read, is so important that as I try for process, I'm lost into the last. That don't mean I can't ask questions regarding the entirety of the poem, because there's one thing about it. which is about the consolidation, the compactness of this solidarity we will look for in terms of humanity, the way forward, in terms of the allegory of Zangola, in terms of Adama, in terms of Bala, in terms of all the people who suffer the consequences. And interestingly, in your allegory, colonialism, whether you will like, as opposed to where we are. I want to tell you very, very much thank you. And I would definitely get for bring you come again, because I'm so interested in all of this. And there are a few people who are interested. And I know a few people are going to buy your book. And I will try for advertise them as well so that they will continue for buy your book in subsequent programs. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this program, very important program. But again, we will not forget, this is the TNN TV Media Empire. Waiting for come up again. I want to let una know, and they try for bring the flyer come now the background briefly. Me lightning sim for the play up. So therefore, we get a mix up of waiting support for the show on my background. So that they see me raw green room tech. And we're not supposed to see that raw green room tech, because that raw green room tech na private issue. Very private. So here we go. So I think I get this now where we can end with. It's all about the lighting. But again, Abu, many thanks. I will talk to you in camera, but I appreciate your time today. And trust me, a lot of people have heard you and will hear you. We brother Abdul Simon Kamara. This book appears to be very interesting. Well done, Mr. Mansaray. And I can assure you that Mr. Simon Kamara is going to buy one of your books. It's not a fortune. And I know the brother is going to buy one of your books. Of course, it's a book now, not a book, because the other one is on your consideration. Abdul Simon Kamara, wow. And of course, there we go. He said, I will lead one, please. Of course, Mr. Kamara, I will show you how to get one of his books. Thank you so much, Ibrahim Kamara. This poetry resonated not just about the struggles about Sierra Leone, but the entire continent, which is true. That's the brilliance of your book. But every good thing has to come to an end. And certainly this is the end of it. So what I want for Leona no family is like on Sunday coming, we might have a program before Sunday. I don't have anything scheduled for now. There might be emergency programs. We are going to continue the conversation on Dr. Kande Yumkela. And the question here is, as I can see in my background, going or gone. The last one where we get, which is doing quite well in social media with thousands of viewers, is Dr. Kande Yumkela and his statement where we make. So we talk about politics, is the NGC in crisis. In this particular conversation where they come on Sunday, we've got a grand debate between the deputy leader of the NGC, a man I've got enormous respect for, Mr. Gismet Fudima Misuma, who is the deputy leader of the NGC, will go head-to-head with Ia Thomas. Ia Thomas, fault him, like him, loathe him. Of course, he's he's a brilliant mind, one of the most brilliant minds in the business in terms of assessing, evaluating, and making analysis on social media. These two are going to be going ahead. So now watch out for the flyer I will release late tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. For the Then and Now media platform, I've been your host and presenter, Prince Emil Kroma, and I tell una, until we catch up again, please, una sign up to we program them. You don't need for pay any money. Just follow we on Facebook. Just like we page on Facebook. Go to YouTube, subscribe again. You don't need for pay. Or hit the notification bell. So therefore, whenever we go live, you will never miss any one of our important, very essential broadcasts. For now, I've been Prince Emil Kroma with the TNN, I repeat, Then and Now TV Media Empire. They say, tada for now. Thank you very much for tuning in. Abu, I will talk to you in camera. Okay, this is it. Good night, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to tie up with our media again. Goodbye.